We need to get a pumpkin. Here, yeah. I'm at work and I need to get a pumpkin.
For a pumpkin, we got the green ones here, we got the spotted ones here, but that's the last one. Got a nice sound to it for that one.
We've got our pumpkin. So we're gonna head back over to the house now and get ready to carve it. Check this out. I couldn't have planned this out better if I tried. That fits perfect in my basket. I am going to carve a pumpkin and tell the tale of Stingy Jack and why we carve pumpkins. Greetings, peers and queers. Welcome back to another episode of Monday through Friday. My name is JC and happy Halloween. On today's episode, we're going to carve this pumpkin here. And as we're carving the pumpkin, I'm going to tell you the tale of Stingy Jack. The reason why we carve jack-o'-lanterns. Please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Other than that, let's go ahead and we're going to change the view up so that you can see a little bit better what I'm doing here. Let's tell the tale of Stingy Jack. That's a little bit better, hopefully. So let us begin. I have a few knives here. I have a garden knife and I have a steak knife. You don't always need a pumpkin kit. You can use things that you have around the house and in the kitchen. I have a metal spoon. I've got a few bowls. That one's out of tune. But some of these are going to be for the guts. Some of these are going to be for the seeds. I am going to keep the seeds because I always bake my pumpkin seeds. Alrighty. So let us begin. I'm going to take my garden knife, which is a little bit thicker, and I'm going to go in at an angle so that the crown of this pumpkin rests at a little bit of an angle. It creates a wedge for this to sit on. Alrighty. So the tale of Stingy Jack and why we carve pumpkins. Centuries ago, before your great-great-great-great-grandmother was but a young girl, in Ireland, there was a drunkard. There was a drunk and a thief and a scoundrel who went by the name of Jack. Now, Jack was a ne'er-do-well, a never-do-well. He was a liar, he was a cheat, he was a thief, and he scoffed at anything good. One day, Jack found himself in a new tavern, as he had ran up a tab in every other tavern in Ireland. He finds himself at a new tavern, a new pub, and there he sees some clergymen, he sees some priests, and he notices that the priests are deep in their drink. The priests are jolly and merry off of wine. He also sees that the priests have with them quite a few purses of gold. Alms for the poor, maybe? Who's to say? All that we know is that Jack saw an opportunity. He talked to the clergyman, he talked to the priest, and when the time was right, when they were distracted and too impaired to notice, Jack made off with the biggest, fattest purse of coin. Making his way down the road, Jack began to hum to himself and sing to himself. And he was like, "Jack, my boy, you've outdone yourself. Not only did you treat the priest this way, but you got a fat sack of gold to boot." Well, it just so happens that Jack had found himself at a crossroads. At a crossroads at midnight. Jack is thinking to himself, which direction should I go? When he hears a from behind him. He turns around to see a very tall, dark stranger. The stranger looks Jack dead in the eyes. "My boy, where would you be going with that purse full of coin?" Well, Jack might be a scoundrel. Jack might be a drunk. Jack might be a liar. But Jack is no fool. Jack is clever. That's how he managed to survive this long. He knew who this tall, dark stranger was. He knew very well that he was in a crossroads. This was the devil. Jack says to the tall stranger, well, I'm just happening down the road. I found myself in a little bit of coin. I was looking for the nearest orphanage. I'm going to hand this in, do my good deed for the day. The stranger says, Jack, I know you're lying. Lies do not befit men of action such as ourselves. You took those coins from those holy men. Now for that, I'm grateful. Hell, I'm impressed. But you've lived a long life, and you've hurt many a people. I do believe that your time is up, Jack. I'm here to collect your soul. Well, it's at this time, as Jack is scrambling for a way out of his predicament, that he hears drunken, grumbling voices. Jack turns to the tall, dark stranger and says, Hark, I think here come those 3 clergymen now. What say, before you take my soul to its final fiery resting place, that you and I have one last joke at the expense of these holy men? The tall, dark stranger chuckles, says, all right, I'm in for a bit of fun. What did you have in mind? Well, says Jack, if you were able to turn yourself into a few coins and hop into this coin purse, I do believe that when you disappeared, you might cause a little kerfuffle among these holy men. The tall, dark stranger thinks, that's a mighty fine good idea. I'll do that. I'll turn myself into a good amount of coins, and you can spill out what you have. You can even line your pockets and take it with you into the fires. Spill out some of those coins, I'll turn myself into the coins, and I'll hop on in there, and then when the priest have me, I'll disappear, lickety-split. And they'll be left wondering, which of us took that money? Jack says, mighty fine idea. He spills out some of the coin, puts in a few of his other pockets and other hideaways on his robes. Well, the tall, dark stranger turns into a few coins, and Jack places him into the purse belonging to the holy men. It is right then and there that the tall, dark stranger begins to panic. Jack, you have to let me out. Something's in here with me. It's pressing up against me. Jack says, what's the matter? Don't very much care for the crucifix in that purse? It's true. The priest had carried a silver crucifix in that purse with them. Being so close to it, the stranger was pinned down and powerless. For he could not change. He could not become himself again. He could not shed his shape of coin. You have to release me. Take the crucifix out. Pour me onto the ground. I need to run away. Jack says, not until you promise me that you're not going to come looking for me again for a good long while. Hey.
Hello, how's it going?
Recording.
Awesome, you look great.
Thank you. Jack says, not until you promise me that you're going to leave me alone for a good long while. I'm not done playing jokes. I'm not done drinking. I'm not done having my fun. The stranger says, it's a deal. 10 years is what you have. 10 years more on this earth, longer than you would have had. And then I come for you, Jack. Jack agrees. Spills the contents of the purse. The priests see all the coin falling on the ground. They fall to their knees and pick up the coin first, not the crucifix. Only later did the coins disappear. Well, 10 years come and go. Jack has plenty of fun with his extended life. And then one day, he finds himself at a familiar crossroads. Different part of the land, familiar crossroads. he hears, "Jack, it's been 10 years. Jack begins to panic. He knows that he needs to pay his dues. He turns around and there's the tall, dark stranger, handsome as ever. Jack goes, "Well, you given me that extra time that I asked for, and I tricked you once. I don't think that you're going to fall for it again." The stranger says, "This time I'm on to you. You're a crafty fellow, Jack, I'll give you that. Crafty and stingy as ever was born. But your time is up. You're coming with me." Jack looks around. He's like, "Well, before I go, one last taste of this earth, of this terra firma." Tall, dark stranger's like, "What are you getting at, Jack?" "Nothing. But I would like to have me an apple. One last apple before I go. You know, fruit of knowledge and all that." The stranger chuckles, says, "All right, very well." They turn around and sure enough, there's an apple tree, a single apple tree. Jack runs up to it and he begins to leap. He begins to jump as high as his little legs can take him. He's like, "Excuse me, sir, but I seem to be a little bit too short to reach that apple there on that branch. And my oh my, if that isn't the shiniest, brightest apple I've ever seen. Do you think that you could, I don't know, climb up there and get me that apple?" The stranger says, "There's no harm in it. I'll go ahead. I'll get you that apple. But after that, Jack, time to pay up." Well, the stranger begins to climb the apple tree. And right as he's getting to that tippy top branch that Jack had pointed out the apple on, Jack takes out a handful of crucifixes and begins planting them all around the apple tree. The stranger looks down and says, "Jack, what are you doing? What trickery is this? Get rid of those. Get rid of those foul signs. You know I'm powerless in their presence." Jack goes, "Ah, I do know. I do know that you can't do anything in the presence of these little signs. It's time to make another deal." The stranger sighs. "All right, you asked for an extension last time. What will it be this time? Fame? Fortune?" Jack goes, "No, not this time. See, I've had a little while to think about it. This is what I want from you. Before I take these crucifixes away from you and let you down out of that tree, I want you to promise me that you'll never allow me to step foot in that furnace. You'll never take me down nor accept me in that pit." The stranger says, "All right, it's done. I'll never allow you into the pit. You'll never be allowed to go into the hell hereafter. You have a deal, Jack. Just get these wretched crosses away from me." Jack picks them up, and just like that, the stranger vanishes. But Jack is cold. He didn't get an extension of life. He did die that night. And with nowhere to go, Jack walks the earth. Jack walks the earth until he finds his way to the pearly gates. And there he sees none other but St. Peter. And he says, "Ha ha! I am Stingy Jack. I am the one that has tricked the stranger. Let me in so that we may rejoice." St. Peter looks at his book and says, "Jack, you've lived a long, wicked life. I cannot in right conscience allow you to enter these gates." Jack says, "But wherefore will I go? I can't go down there. I made a deal. He made a deal. I'm not allowed down there." St. Peter says, "Away with you. Just like that, Jack is away. Jack continues to walk, and he finds himself at the gates of hell. He knocks on the gate. The door opens. Just a crack. "I'll get the boss," says the little imp. The stranger shows up. "Remember our deal, Jack? I haven't forgotten. Your lot's not allowed in here. You can't enter." Jack says, "But where will I go? I wasn't allowed in heaven. I'm no longer among the living. This is my last refuge. I deserve this." Stranger says, "Nope. We made a deal, and a deal's a deal. You can't enter here." Jack is mighty cold, and that furnace is mighty warm. He says, "I'll leave, but do me one last favor." The door closes ever so slightly. "I'm not falling for any more tricks, Jack. No tricks. This is the last you'll see of me. I promise." "All right," says the stranger. "What is it?" Jack says, "That furnace looks mighty warm, and I am mighty cold. Can I have but a single coal from your fires?" "You want a single coal from the eternal fire?" "Aye," says Jack. Stranger says, "Very well." He closes the door behind him. Jack fears that the stranger left him. He waits and waits and waits. Fears that the stranger is never going to open the door again. Just then, the door opens, and out bounces a coal, orange and flaming like a candle. Jack has nothing to pick it up with. In his sack, he has a few turnips, for indeed, the first jack-o'-lantern was a turnip. He has a few turnips that he had for meals along the road, for they grew in Ireland. Pumpkins did not. Pumpkins are from the New World, from the Americas. Jack takes out one of his turnips, flips out a knife, and begins to hollow out that turnip. He makes himself a nice little lantern. Something to carry the coal with, he thinks. And he begins to walk. Jack walks, and he walks, and he walks. No destination. Where does someone go when they're dead? Not allowed in heaven or hell. Jack begins to become afraid. What's going to happen to him? Will he always be like this? He hears creatures, beasts, wolves, he thinks. And he's like, I have nothing to defend myself with. Surely these beasts can see someone like me. I have it, thinks Jack. Takes out his dagger, takes out his knife. He carves a face into the turnip. Sure enough, these hounds spot Jack, hiding amongst the tombstones of a graveyard, of a cemetery. Just when they're about ready to attack him, he turns the turnip to face him, and on it is carved a ghoulish, hideous face with eyes of flame and mouth the same. The wolves turn tail and hide. The wolves turn and flee for fear of the fiery face that they met. This is a handy trick, thinks Jack. And in all of his travels, he carries around this lantern. When the Irish began to immigrate to the Americas, they found these wonderful plants, these wonderful gourds, squash, pumpkin, and they took their tradition of hollowing out vegetables and placing a candle inside and carving a ghoulish face. Pumpkins seemed to work best. And so they would do this. Not not originally as a Halloween decoration, mind you, but they did this as a fall festival good luck charm, a scary face to keep away the spirits, the mischievous spirits, like Jack. Well, as the Irish began to spread along the Americas and this became more and more common practice, that's where you get the name jack-o'-lantern from. In another telling, there are no priests. It is simply the stranger and Jack tricks him into turning into a coin and has a crucifix in his own purse. There's also another story similar to this one from Louisiana about a similar creature called jack-o'-lantern, only that one has nothing to do with carving a pumpkin. That one is a type of demon with grasshopper legs that like really scares people in Louisiana. Unrelated, but by the same name. Some people might also link that Louisiana grasshopper leg jack-o'-lantern to Spring Heel Jack in Europe. Well, now we got this mostly hollowed out. Do my best. Carve that out. But that is the reason why we have jack-o'-lanterns. They are a guardian against dark spirits. That's why we carve them out during the fall season when the fruit is ripe, it's the last harvest, and the veil is thin. So if you're wanting to scare away ghosts and goblins, things like jack-o'-lanterns do tend to do the trick. Otherwise, if you want to know a little bit more about spirits, you can watch my video, which is linked down in the descriptions below. There I talk a little bit more about spirits and ghosts and how to communicate and deal with them.
I like that pumpkin.
Yeah, I know. This is the last pumpkin that they had. Well, the last pie pumpkin that they had.
Very pumpkin.
This is the, go-to when you think of a pumpkin. But yeah, it's true. The first jack-o'-lanterns were made out of beets and turnips especially. And they used to hollow out the tubers that would grow and stuff like that. Like, think Ireland, you think potatoes, radishes, that kind of stuff. They used to hollow out the vegetables, and then they would carve little faces in them, and then they would put candles in them and stuff. And it would be kind of like a good luck charm to scare away dark spirits. I'm going to have to take the video that I have on here off because I had only like 42 minutes. We're still rolling. Hi everyone, are you enjoying watching me finger this pumpkin? I should be using this hand. Why should I be using this hand? Come on, you know why. All right, never mind. Finger this pumpkin. Oh. Okay. It's almost done. I don't know if you can see this. All right. Da, 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 da. Hello. The only book you should burn is a book of matches. 8th time's the charm. Woo. There we go. I'm all done. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I am still recording, just so you know.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I thought that story was going to take a lot longer because, like, it usually does.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes exactly how you think an uncooked vegetable would taste. But these are called pie pumpkins and stuff, and these are actually the ones that you blend up. You add a little bit of cinnamon and add a little bit of nutmeg, and boom, you got yourself pumpkin pie. These ones particularly.
How do you make your pumpkin seeds when you bake them?
So, if you want to make pumpkin seeds at home, first you take the pumpkin seeds, all right? You put them all in a dish or a bowl or something. You soak them overnight. You put table salt in there, as much as you like. I usually put a fair amount in there. You put water in there and the salt. You let them soak overnight. The next day, you put them out on a cookie tray that you've either sprayed with Pam, put a little butter on, or you have parchment paper on, baking paper. You put the seeds on the tray. You put salt, sprinkle salt on top of the seeds that are wet. That's important. You put it into the preheated oven at 350 and you do that for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, depending on your oven. And then you take them out, let them cool for about 5 minutes, and you have hard little salty treats and stuff. I eat the shell, but I'm dumb. So usually you're breaking the shell open like a sunflower seed and eating the kernel inside. Not me. I eat the shell too because I like fiber.
I add garlic to mine.
You can totally do that, by the way. You can make like different batches. Do chili powder, garlic, dill, whatever you want and stuff. That's a good idea.
I love vampires, but I'm definitely not a vampire.
Yeah. I feel you on that one. I'm not a vampire yet. I am a corpse, though. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dying. I'm joking. I got a 10-year extension. Can't wait to see the stranger again soon. Yeah, so if you want to make pumpkin seeds at home and stuff like that, put them in a container, put water in the container, put plenty of salt in there, let them soak overnight, take them out, drain the water out, put them on a baking sheet or a cookie sheet, pour salt on it. Be careful because salt and water on certain sheets will cause them to rust. Keep that one in mind. Bake them in the oven at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Let them cool. Ah! 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 All right. Thank you all very much for watching. I love you all very much. Happy Halloween. Happy New Year. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Bye. Bye.